myself. My name is Han Solo. I'm Captain Millennium Falcon. Well, I'm a guy. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman. Hasta la vista, baby. Say hello to my little friend. Here's Johnny.
We are live, ladies and gentlemen. We are live with the 11th installment of Snack and Chats. Okay, I hope all of you are having a wonderful day. I sure am, and it's just getting better as I'm hosting Snack and Chat episode 11. So I hope all of you are having a great day in this quarantine chaos thing that we are in. And as you can see here, we got a bunch of movie news to talk about. Excuse me. But before we get to that, first of all, make sure you like and subscribe because that is very important, helps out a lot, helps the channel out a lot, it really shows some support. So definitely make sure and do that. Also comment down below as the show's going on. What do you think about this movie news here? What are your thoughts on that stuff, okay? And also, before we get started, I got my snacks, okay? Get ready for this, all right? Oh, yeah. Check this out. Bam! Bam! Oreos galore. I think I've talked about Oreos before on probably some of my videos, but if I haven't, that's shame on me. But Oreos are my favorite snacks of all time. We got the double stuff. We got the chocolate covered. I think I'm gonna stick with the double stuff for today. Okay, let's see here. Let's open one of them up. You know what? I'm a more of a fan of the chocolate one. But because I don't want like my teeth to get all like nasty, I'm gonna stick with the vanilla for today. So, ooh, double stuff. That's where it's at, ladies and gentlemen. Good stuff. All right. So with that down, let's get to why we're here. And that is the movie news. The movie news, okay? Let's get down to it. Now, the first topic we're going to talk about here, I don't have it on the board thing here. By the way, I'm proud of this that I made of like the snack and chat thing. I'm proud of that. I'm very proud of myself for doing that. But anyways, the first topic we're going to go down today is not on here because it just popped up this morning and I didn't have time to put it on the list. But the first topic we're going to talk about today is Olivia Wilde's new film. It's a thriller. I believe I've talked about it on a Snack and Chat episode before. It's going to be called Don't Worry, Darling. I believe it's called the book. However, it just came out this morning that Florence Pugh, Shia LaBeouf, and Chris Pine are set to star in the movie. I think this is great news. This is fantastic news. This is absolute fire. I like Booksmart. I don't love it a lot as other people do, but I enjoy it. I just wasn't as big of a fan as most people were. But this cast is fantastic. I enjoy Olivia Wilde, but once again, yes, I'm not the biggest fan of Booksmart, but I think she did a pretty good job with it. But I think this is awesome news. I'm excited for it. And I can't wait to see what she does with it because obviously switching it up a bit from comedy to now thriller. So I'm excited to see what she does with a thriller movie. So let's move on to the next topic, and that is this. Let's talk about Back to the Future here, shall we? So there's been a trend lately among film fans and everything. Basically, film fans have been putting together like there are 5 movies that they believe are just perfect, that they believe are like 5 perfect movies. And director James Gunn has decided to take part in this. And a part of that list was Back to the Future. And people had some issue with that because some believe that Back to the Future isn't a perfect movie. It's your opinion. So, it's what it is. And they start talking about some of the plot holes that the film has had. And the big one has always been, at least in the past couple decades, is that basically when the big plot hole is that when Marty comes back from 1955, why don't his parents remember him from when they were in high school? Now, James Gunn was obviously on the side that that's not really that wasn't really a mistake, that they probably just don't remember him and stuff. And then Chris Pratt joined in and he went on James Gunn's side. And the screenwriter of the film, I believe I'm forgetting, Bob Gale, the screenwriter of the film, has ended the debate when he came out on Twitter and said this: a perfect film can be different from a favorite movie or a great film. A perfect film is something that, oh, wait, no, that's James Gunn's quote. Sorry, excuse me. It was when he said this. This is what he said. I was reading the wrong quote. Here we go. He said, bear in mind that George and Lorraine only knew Marty/Calvin for 8 days when they were 17, and they did not even see him every one of those 8 days. So many years later, they still remember that interesting kid who got them together on their first date. He then continued by saying, but I would ask anyone to think back on their own high school days and ask themselves how they remember a kid who might have been at their school for even a semester, or someone you went out with just one time. If you had no photo reference, after 25 years, you'd probably just have a hazy recollection. Now, as you guys know, or maybe not know, Back to the Future is one of my favorite movies of all time. Okay, I absolutely adore Back to the Future. I just love it. It's Back to the Future. It's amazing. Now, I kind of agree with the screenwriter. I mean, because I think it makes sense, because even if Lorraine and George were to even remember Calvin, at least somewhat remember Calvin, I highly doubt they would even connect the dots and be like, what if Marty used a time machine to go back in time and make us fall in love and do all of that? I highly doubt that would happen. I just think Lorraine and George would just be like, hey, you know what, Marty? You look a lot like a kid we knew back in high school. Like that's I think that's what I think would happen. I highly doubt that they would connect the dots and do all that. So I agree with the screenwriter. I think it makes sense, but I've never been one to really dig into plot holes, especially with Back to the Future. I just enjoy the movie. I'm not one to look into plot holes. I mean, there are times when I do, but most of the time, I just don't really care for them. But yeah, that's it for Back to the Future. Now, our next topic, well, it's actually not a topic, it's more of a review. And our next topic is the new Netflix film starring Chris Hemsworth, and it's also produced by the Russo brothers, and that is Extraction. Just came out today. I had a chance to watch it this morning, and I was just expecting a pretty fun action movie with Chris Hemsworth. So I was, plus I thought the trailers looked pretty fun. The Russo brothers posted a scene of like this knife fight that looked pretty cool. So I was pretty hyped to see this movie. And after watching the film, I'm glad to say that I had a really good time watching this movie. The action is great. It's intense. The hand-to-hand combat is fantastic. It's shot really well. The performances are all really good. Hemsworth obviously does a great job. To me, he's probably one of the most underrated actors right now. Everything, I thought the relationship between Hemsworth's character and the person that he was saving or rescuing in the film, I thought the relationship was really well done. They had a really nice back and forth, lots of heart there. And overall, I think the movie had a really good payoff at the end, and I really enjoyed this movie. I definitely recommend it if you have Netflix. It's a fun action flick. Highly recommend it. And with that said, I'm probably going to give Extraction a 4 out of 5 for, and he's really enjoyed this one. I actually enjoyed it more than I thought I would. So yeah, I definitely recommend Extraction. So with that said, let's move on to the next topic. And this next piece of news came out around, I think probably a couple days ago, and that is Hunger Games. Hunger Games, the franchise that ended about 5 years ago. I've enjoyed the movies personally, but Hunger Games is coming back to cinemas as director Francis Lawrence is returning to make a prequel film of Hunger Games. And it's based off of the book, also written by Suzanne Collins. I don't think it's come out yet, actually. But anyways, they're making a prequel for Hunger Games, for the Hunger Games franchise. Now, once again, I enjoyed the Hunger Games films very much. I think they're very fun. The second one's personally my favorite out of the bunch. Now, but to be honest with you, I don't feel like there was really a calling, at least right now, for there being another Hunger Games movie. I feel like all the talk around those films have kind of died down. I mean, yes, there's still reference today, but I don't feel like there's a hype for there being another Hunger Games movie. And then, I mean, yes, the films did really, really well. I mean, it's a $1 billion franchise. The movies did really, really well. But if you go down the list, if you go down the film as like if you look at the first one and then the second one, after the second one, you kind of see a little bit of a decline as far as box office because the first Hunger Games made $694 million, okay, and then Catching Fire made $865 million. So you definitely saw a big jump there, but then it starts to decline as you get into Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1, which made $755 million, which is obviously great. And then comes the final installment, which made the least out of all four of the films, even less than the first one at $653 million. Now you may be thinking, that is a lot of money. Yes, it is still a lot of money. It was successful, but you definitely see a little bit of a decline there. But I enjoy the films. I wouldn't mind seeing another one. I just don't see there really being I don't really see there being a reason for making another Hunger Games movie other than Lionsgate probably having a hunger to put out some films that make hundreds of millions of dollars, since they haven't really had that since the final Hunger Games movie, because they're seeing all these companies like Warner Brothers with their DC, like Disney obviously kicking butt with Universal with their Fast and the Furious franchise, and they probably feel like, you know what, we need to get back in the game. So that could be a reason why. But I mean, maybe this movie can be fun, maybe not. We'll just have to find out. Again, I don't mind there being another one, but we'll find out. We'll see how this movie turns out. Now, let's talk about Star Wars, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about Star Wars. Let's talk about Star Wars. Let's go to a galaxy far, far away. Now, Disney Plus is about to get a whole buttload of Star Wars content. Obviously, The Mandalorian Season 2 coming out this year. You got Cassian Andor coming out. You got Obi-Wan coming out. But a couple days ago, it has been confirmed that The Mandalorian Season 3 is already in the works at Disney Plus, even though Mandalorian Season 2 hasn't even come out yet. That is, to me, that's pretty good news. I mean, I'm sure to most people that's pretty good news. And once again, this shows the fact that they've greenlit a third season shows the confidence that Lucasfilm and Disney have in Jon Favreau and his crew, with putting all this stuff together and hopefully coming up with something good. So that definitely shows that they have a lot of confidence in him. So that's great. That shows that they also have a lot of confidence in the second season of The Mandalorian. So that's also great. But keep in mind, we've seen Lucasfilm and Disney kind of get ahead of themselves with Star Wars, because remember, at one point there was supposed to be 2 Star Wars movies a year. Now there's 0, but however, we are getting a lot of television shows. But I highly doubt that's that scenario. I think this is great news. I'm excited for Mandalorian Season 2, and plus we're getting a Season 3. Not only that, but a trailer for I believe a little behind the scenes show that Disney Plus is putting together. A little trailer came out for that, and I haven't seen it. So I thought, why not do a trailer reaction to this trailer? I believe the show is called Disney Gallery The Mandalorian. So I haven't seen the trailer yet. So I thought, you know what? Let's do trailer reaction here on Snack and Chat. So let me hold up. Let me put this together here, ladies and gents. Let me put this together here. Okay. All right. Okay. Just do this. But I am really excited for what's to come for the Star Wars franchise. Like a lot. Okay. So we got that. We got the trailer loaded there. Okay. Now let me do this. Not that. Let me do this. Let me do that. Boom. We're good to go. All right, let's play this sucker. Let's see. Because I haven't seen it yet, so let's check it out.
The enthusiasm is infectious.
So much of this process is about problem solving and making breakthroughs.
Everyone is coming with their own experiences to a galaxy that can support it. And then also have a group of filmmakers who were not afraid to
Sick.
jump
You got Taika Waititi in there.
It's hard to believe all these years later, there's such energy around new stories in this world.
8 episodes.
You could be back in a set as if it was built. The outside is all video walls, and the top is video wall.
So they're really bringing in the whole crew.
For me, one of the most rewarding experiences is someone who just loves Star Wars.
It was like one of the weirdest and best things that ever happened with Werner. He was acting against the baby, and he started directing the baby directly. I'm trying to direct Werner, who's now directing the puppet. He was telling us we needed to commit to the magic, make them use the puppet.
That's cool. Disney puts together some really good behind the scenes stuff.
It's like IG-88.
They built them out of parts of the old Cantina set.
Oh, that's
It was
fun.
weird.
That's funny.
Children like that's the coolest assassin robot. It was bolted to the floor.
We're trying to draw from all over Star Wars.
Sometimes I think it's just like anything in any different scene. You just have energy, and you can see that in the physicality. You can see that in the acting.
George reiterated, remember to make these stories hopeful, to give that to kids because they really need it. It's important to the foundation of Star Wars, but we don't just want action, we want to feel uplifted. And Star Wars ultimately is about family. It is really saying there is a lot of hope out there.
That's cool. May the 4th. Makes sense. So what, next week, right? I think so. Anyways, that was really cool. I'm definitely looking forward to that. I'll definitely watch that. I'll definitely get my thoughts on here. But I'm really I like that trailer. I like that trailer quite a bit. I'll definitely watch the behind the scenes of the Mandalorian season 1. And once again, I'm looking forward to Mandalorian season 2 and 3. But that's not the only thing Star Wars that's coming to Disney Plus that was announced this week. Another thing coming up is this: a new Star Wars show coming from Russian Doll co-creator Leslie Headland. It's currently in the works at Disney Plus. Basically, it's supposed to be a female-centric series that takes place in different parts of the Star Wars timeline than what's been explored from other projects. And yeah, and she's going to be the writer as well as the showrunner for the series. And it's currently staffing for some employees and stuff. I think that's cool that they're exploring new stuff in the Star Wars timeline that we haven't seen yet. I'm definitely curious about that. It's also awesome seeing that we're going to get a female-centric Star Wars show. And even though I haven't seen Russian Doll, I hear it's very good. And obviously, I believe she also directed a few episodes. So I have trust in her to make a show that will hopefully turn out to be good, because she already co-created and directed a show that was enjoyed by most people, by most fans. So that's definitely awesome. So I have trust in her that she could probably do the same with Star Wars. And she's also a big fan of Star Wars. She was even at the Rise of Skywalker premiere. So yeah, I mean, she's a Star Wars fan. She's already created something that's been enjoyed by many people. That at least that's what I've heard. So I have some trust in her. I definitely do, and I'm excited to see what this project is all about. It could be Ahsoka, it could be, I don't know, Old Republic. Who knows? I think it could be Ahsoka, especially because there's been so much stuff about Ahsoka lately with Rosario Dawson and all that. So I'm definitely curious to see what this new project is, and it's awesome. It's awesome. Good news. But some not so good news. Well, actually, yeah, some not so good news is that basically the whole DCEU slate, or DC Universe, whatever it's called nowadays, has basically been pushed back. It's been delayed. Ladies and gents. The DCEU films have basically been All of them were delayed. Starting off with Wonder Woman 1984, which was delayed to August 14th, 2020. And then you go to the Batman, which was like the big thing that moved from its June 25th release date, I believe, to then October 1st, 2021. And then you have the Flash, if that's ever going to come out, to June 3rd. I don't remember what it was supposed to. I think it's supposed to come. I don't remember when it's supposed to come out. It says originally it was set to release in early 2018. Obviously, that didn't happen. But it's set to release June 3rd, 2022. And then you have Shazam 2 at November 4th, 2022. And then they don't. I saw none of the websites bring up Black Adam because I don't think they've had a release date. However, The Rock came out and said that it'll most likely come out, most likely be pushed into August or September. And I mean, as far as the other films like Wonder Woman, I don't think that's for it coming out in August. That's not that bad. It's only 2 months after it was supposed to come out. The Batman, while I'm bummed that it's delayed, I think it'd be pretty cool to see a Batman movie around Halloween time. I think that would be pretty awesome to see. And yeah, that's kind of it there. The Flash, I mean, my confidence in that movie ever releasing is just, I don't really have any. Shazam 2, I believe it was supposed to come out April 1st, so you definitely see a big delay there. I enjoyed the first one, and I'm excited for the second one. I'm definitely excited for the second one. Zachary Levi did a great job playing Shazam, so I'm definitely pretty hyped for Shazam 2. But yeah, it is pretty bum. I'm pretty bummed to hear that the whole DC slate has been delayed. But one thing that is not delayed is Tenet. Director Christopher Nolan, who's obviously the director of the film, says that he will have Tenet ready to open for July 17th, its release date for this year, unless theaters are closed. Now, I personally think that if theaters were to open by July 17th, I still think audiences will be on... Oh, excuse me. My goodness. A little bit of a phone call there. Anyways, I think if theaters were to open by the time Tenet comes out, which I think they'll definitely start to open by the time Tenet comes out, but if they were to, hypothetically, I think audiences will still be on edge going to the movies. And keep in mind that it's not like this movie it's not like this is an indie movie. This film cost $205 million to make, so it needs $410 million to break even. And yes, Nolan has been pretty successful with his films in the past, like Inception. Interstellar did pretty well. His last film, Dunkirk, did good, even though it did the worst out of the three, but it did good. So it's definitely a risk keeping it there, but because again, I still believe audiences will still have that worry about going to the movies. So it's definitely a risk there, but I'm really hyped to see Tenet. I think it'd probably be my top, well, at least, like if this didn't happen, it would definitely be in my top 10 most anticipated of the year, but let's see what happens with Tenet in the coming months. And another thing that's on schedule to happen, or at least to come out, another thing that's on schedule to come out, and that is HBO Max. HBO Max, HBO's new upcoming streaming service. It is scheduled to come out May 27th, and the subscription streaming package will have 10,000 hours of content when it comes out. It'll be priced at $14.99. It says that HBO Max will include all the programming from HBO, a slate of new original series. It says third-party licensed content like Friends, The Big Bang Theory, South Park, and all the Studio Ghibli films, and as well as movies from Warner Brothers' new line and DC, like Joker, Suicide Squad, Wonder Woman, The Matrix, Casablanca, and The Wizard of Oz. And then it says, in addition, HBO Max will also be stocked with content from other Warner Media brands, including CNN, TNT, TBS, True TV, Turner Classic Movies, Cartoon Network, Adult Swim, Crunchyroll, Rooster Teeth, and Looney Tunes. That is a lot. And let me tell you, that's some exciting stuff right there, ladies and gentlemen. That is some exciting stuff right there. I just love hearing that. That is music to my ears. But my question is, once HBO Max comes out, and what's the point of subscribing to HBO, like the normal HBO or like an HBO Now. Like, what's the point of subscribing to those? Well, for the same price, you can subscribe to HBO Max and you can watch whatever you want, whenever you want. So I don't really, I'm kind of, but I don't know with that. I don't know about that. But HBO Max definitely sounds exciting. All the content that you guys just heard right there, that just sounds like just awesome. Just absolutely awesome. I'm excited to see what HBO Max is going to do, and it's probably going to bring some heavy duty into the streaming wars. So with that said, let's hop into the final topic, and that is Venom 2. Venom 2. Venom 2 gets a new title as well as a new release date. Okay, so the new title for Venom 2 is Venom Let There Be Carnage. Yeah, and it was obviously supposed to come out October 2nd of this year, but it then got pushed back all the way to next year on June 25th, where Warner Brothers' The Batman was supposed to come out. Now let's first talk about the title. Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage. What a dumb title. What an absolutely dumb title. Now, I usually think the way I think of a quality of a title is when I say it. Is when I say it like this. It's like if you're talking to a friend and you're like, "Hey, want to go watch Let There Be Carnage?" It's like that doesn't go right. Like if you're talking about a Star Wars movie, you want to be like, "Hey, want to go watch Return of the Jedi?" Like that sounds smooth. This doesn't sound smooth. "Hey, want to go watch Let There Be Carnage?" That sounds dumb. Absolutely dumb. I don't like this title at all. It's just not cool. And as far as the release date goes, this is the first movie to be delayed in October. This is the first film to be delayed in October. Probably because, this is just my prediction, probably because Sony was worried that maybe audience will still be apprehensive about going to the movies come October. So maybe that's why. But as far as moving it, the new release date for it, I think it's a pretty good spot because it comes out in June, in the middle of the summer. But the only competition it has is Jurassic World. Yes, that's a big enemy right there. But there's, I believe, like a 2-week space in between them. So I think Jurassic World would have done most of its business by the time Venom comes into theaters. And then its other competition is In the Heights, which was also delayed to June. But that's a different audience. So I think Venom 2, I think that's a good release date. The title stinks, but I think they did a good job with selecting a new release date. And with that said, that is it, ladies and gentlemen. That is it for the 11th installment of Snack and Chat. I hope all of you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to comment down below. What did you guys think of the movie news that we ran down through today? And yeah, that's it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And as always, look out for the next video or review. And peace.